Hello everyone, it is Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, and I wanted to show a little bit of a problem that I've got, my neighbors have, and share with me. We've got water flowing through our backyard. It actually, let me just give you a little tracing here. You can't see too much other than that the soil is wet up in there as well as up by our house, but down in here there's water flowing through my backyard. Why would this be? Well, it's actually coming up out of the soil, and most of it seems to be going right through our yard down that path. It's not coming down the normal watershed. All this area is a little bit wet. It's not coming down that area. Furthermore, that's just past that greenhouse, and on the other side of the fence, up maybe another 150 feet or so, is the crest of a hill, one of the high points here in Little Rock, Arkansas. So let's see, how in the world would water be getting under my house? Well, it doesn't seem to be getting in this way. This is all dry, yet when we come down, still kind of dry, but notice the change in soil color as we get to about here. It's damp. It hasn't rained here in like 5 days. Now, we did have some recent tropical storms, but again, we're at the crest of a hill. Also, beneath my house is super damp and wet right now. We're like way up high, but under here it's just wet, muddy, soggy, and the entire underside of my house is covered in black plastic, yet it was coming up like, I'm gonna say probably 12 inches at some times, especially if it rains and there's extra water that the ground can't shed. It like absolutely floods our yard. So why am I bothered by this? Because it's coming from the apartment complex right uphill from us. I'm about to show you guys a little bit of something. Water flowing on this side of the street. Other side of the street, totally dry. But yeah, up here, there's water flowing. There's a little free plug for my kids' school. Thank you, Christ the King. Today, let me get a little away from the street while we've got some traffic. But see, this is, I'm 2 houses down from the very edge of an apartment complex, Towne Oaks Apartments, here in Little Rock, Arkansas, which does occupy the crest of the hill. And I'm going to show you where all of this water is coming from. You can see here between this and what's flowing through and under my house, it's a tremendous amount of water. It's been doing this for weeks. And this is, gosh, I don't know, the 5th or 6th time I have seen them just allow this place to openly flood. And it's like wanton disregard. They don't try to call us or anything and say, hey, guys, watch out, we're gonna be leaking for some unknown number of weeks. They just let this stuff happen. This is so many times. I'm infuriated. I'm ready to take legal action over it. It's not only hurting our yard and our house, the structure of our home, and I think the structure of our patio has started to kind of change angle. But look at all this. This is no small leak. It's just a ton of water that's constantly going down and out from here. Now we're almost at the very crest of this hill, and we find this is where the water's coming from, beneath this building here, which It's like 705, 706, 707, 708. This might be the very highest point that I can see water. I'm not sure if this is where the apex is, maybe somewhere in here, but you can see this water doesn't really want to run off, so it may be kind of flat here, or it's trapped. This is coming out from a separate point, even though it's not nearly as much. It's probably what the ground beneath the building cannot support. Then there's a crack in the concrete here, and you can see it's pouring out of there with slimy green algae growing. I don't know if you can get a good view of this, but it's not like this is new. This has been here so long that freaking biology is dependent on it. I mean, oh, even more here. I've been calling the management of Towne Oaks Apartments since at least 2017 about this. And the most I've ever been told is, oh yeah, we're doing something about that. Oh yeah. And then people will come out and do something like, let's see, I'll show you this big diversion that has been built. It's kind of like a dam that was designed not to be a fix, but to just make water flow around a bit. And sorry, I'm walking down a hill. I know the camera's kind of bouncy, but let's see. What would make all of the water build up here instead of just running straight down? They built a dam that starts over there and goes all the way back here. I'm sorry, this just makes me mad. It's just like an absolutely negligent decision making. It comes to over here, just a little bit beyond where they keep their dumpsters. And you can see it's also just a bit behind the power line, behind my property line. And then the water goes over here, runs off into the back. They leave stuff like that. This has been here for a month at least. I've got video of that from a long time ago. I'm not sure exactly how long this has been going on, but I've been taking photos and videos of this round of leakage for quite some time. Now, I didn't just discover that there was a water problem coming from here and start getting mad. We noticed there was a water problem a long time before we figured out what the source was. And this was still going back years. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit about where else some of this water comes from. You can see, and again, we're running along the high side of the street. This is where South Edge Drive meets Satterfield in the 72227 area of Little Rock. And very boggy, grassy area. They probably can't mow that very well. Water does run down through there as well. It also seems that we've got some issues over here. So I'm not sure who's liable for this. This may be something with the city. But here we see that at an access point or a couple of access points, here at the shopping center right behind Hibernia and Cupid's, there's another point where water's just coming up and out of the ground. So if this is, it certainly looks like a piece of property that's owned or managed by a different group, and probably, I'm not saying who's liable for this at this part, but I definitely think that the apartment complex that has water bubbling up from directly below them is more responsible than me for what's happening to my house. I mean, this is just nutty, because that's That's not being responsible. This is allowing water to flood